The night train represents one of travel's most romantic and contemplative experiences, offering passengers a unique journey that combines transportation with transformation. As evening settles and the train departs the station, travelers enter a world where time moves differently, where the gentle rhythm of wheels on rails creates a meditative backdrop for rest, reflection, and quiet adventure. This nocturnal voyage through sleeping landscapes offers something increasingly rare in our hurried world: the opportunity to truly disconnect from daily pressures while reconnecting with the simple pleasure of movement through space and time. The night train becomes a sanctuary in motion, carrying passengers not just to their destinations, but through an experience that enriches the soul and calms the spirit. The train station exists in that liminal space between day and night, where the last traces of sunset linger on the horizon while stars begin their ancient vigil overhead. The Midnight Express stands ready at Platform 7, its dark blue carriages gleaming softly under the amber glow of old-fashioned lamps. Steam rises gently from beneath the locomotive, creating ghostly tendrils that dissipate into the cooling air. Your ticket, worn soft at the edges from handling, bears the simple inscription, "Destination unknown, departure when ready." The conductor, a kindly figure with silver hair and eyes that hold the wisdom of countless journeys, takes your ticket with a gentle nod. His uniform, pressed and proper, speaks of decades spent shepherding travelers through the peaceful hours of night. The train car you enter breathes with the quiet dignity of another era. Rich mahogany panels line the walls, polished to a warm glow that reflects the soft light from brass fixtures. The seats, upholstered in deep burgundy velvet, invite you to sink into their embrace. Each compartment window frames the darkening landscape like a painting, and heavy curtains wait to be drawn when privacy calls. Other passengers move through the aisles with the unhurried grace of those who understand that this journey serves a purpose beyond mere transportation. An elderly woman with knitting needles that click in soothing rhythm settles near the window. A gentleman with a well-worn book finds his place across the aisle, his reading glasses catching the gentle light. A young couple whispers softly, their voices blending with the ambient sounds of the settling train. The locomotive's whistle calls once, long and low, a sound that speaks of departure and adventure, of leaving behind the concerns of day for the restorative embrace of night. The train begins to move with barely perceptible motion, wheels finding their rhythm on rails that stretch into darkness. Through your window, the station lights begin to slide past, growing distant until they become mere pinpricks in the gathering night. The train settles into its traveling rhythm, a gentle percussion that becomes the heartbeat of your journey. Click-clack, click-clack. The wheels sing their ancient song against the rails, a lullaby that has soothed travelers for generations. The sound creates a meditation in motion, each repetition drawing you deeper into the peaceful trance of travel. The locomotive pulls its chain of cars through the outskirts of town, past houses where warm light glows behind curtained windows. In these homes, families gather for evening meals, children are tucked into bed, and the day's work gives way to night's rest. The train passes like a gentle guardian, carrying its passengers through this domestic tranquility without disturbing the peace. Your seat by the window becomes a perfect vantage point for observing the world's transition from day to night. The last light of evening paints the sky in watercolor washes of purple and gold, While the first stars appear like scattered diamonds on dark velvet, the moon, nearly full, begins its own journey across the heavens, casting silver light that transforms the ordinary landscape into something magical. The train car's interior takes on the quality of a moving sanctuary. Soft conversations blend with the rhythmic sounds of travel, creating an atmosphere of shared solitude. The conductor moves through the aisles with practiced quiet, checking tickets and offering gentle assistance. His presence adds to the sense of security and care that pervades the journey. As the train gains momentum, the outside world begins to blur into impressionistic beauty. Fence posts become rhythmic markers, trees merge into flowing shadows, and distant lights twinkle like earthbound stars. The motion creates a hypnotic effect, encouraging the mind to release its hold on the day's concerns and drift into the peaceful state that precedes sleep. The heating system maintains perfect comfort, neither too warm nor too cool, while the gentle swaying of the car rocks passengers like a parent's arms. Some travelers have already succumbed to the soporific effects of the journey, their heads resting against seat backs or shoulders, faces peaceful in the soft light. The Midnight Express carries you through a succession of small villages, each one a study in nighttime serenity. These communities, nestled in valleys and perched on gentle hills, seem to exist in a state of perpetual twilight, their streets empty save for the occasional cat picking its way across cobblestones or a late walker heading home beneath street lamps that cast pools of amber light. In the first village, the train slows as it approaches a tiny station where no one waits. The platform, swept clean and lined with flower boxes that release the faint fragrance of night-blooming jasmine, stands as a testament to care and pride. A single light burns in the station master's office, though the building appears empty. The train pauses for just a moment, as if paying respects to this quiet outpost, before continuing its journey. Church spires rise against the star-filled sky, their bells silent now, but somehow still present in the peaceful air. These villages have witnessed centuries of such nights, countless trains carrying sleepy passengers through their borders while life continues its gentle rhythm. The train becomes part of this continuity, a modern thread in an ancient tapestry of travel and rest. Gardens behind village houses show the silver touch of moonlight on carefully tended plots. Vegetable rows stand in neat formation, while fruit trees cast intricate shadows on the ground below. The scent of roses and lavender drifts through the train's slightly open windows, mixing with the clean smell of night air and the faint aroma of coal smoke from the locomotive. A few houses show signs of wakefulness, a kitchen window glowing warmly where someone enjoys a late cup of tea, a porch light left burning for a family member's return, a bedroom window where a reader's silhouette moves against drawn curtains. These glimpses of life create a sense of connection, reminding passengers that the world continues its quiet activities, even as they journey through the night. The train's passage through these villages creates barely a whisper of disturbance. Its engineers have perfected the art of respectful travel, maintaining speeds that honor the sleeping communities, while still providing the gentle motion that soothes passengers toward their own rest. The locomotive's whistle remains silent through these populated areas, replaced by the softer sounds of wheels on rails and the gentle hiss of steam. Between villages, the countryside opens into fields and meadows where nocturnal creatures go about their business. The train's lights occasionally catch the gleam of eyes in the darkness, perhaps a deer pausing in its evening feeding, or an owl surveying its territory from a fence post. These brief encounters with wildlife add to the sense of moving through a world both familiar and mysterious. As the evening deepens, passengers begin to make their way toward the dining car, drawn by the warm light that spills from its windows and the promise of comfort food served with unhurried grace. The dining car represents the heart of the train's social life, a place where strangers become temporary companions united by their shared journey through the night. The car's interior glows with the warmth of polished wood and brass fixtures. Tables set with crisp white linens and simple flower arrangements create intimate spaces for conversation and contemplation. The gentle swaying of the train adds a unique charm to the dining experience, requiring a certain mindfulness that slows the pace and encourages savoring each moment. The menu offers comfort foods perfectly suited to nighttime travel. Hearty soups that warm from within, fresh bread with butter that melts at first touch, and simple dishes prepared with care and attention to detail. The kitchen staff, working in the compact galley with practiced efficiency, understand that their role extends beyond mere food preparation to the creation of experiences that soothe and satisfy. An elderly chef, his white coat pristine despite the challenges of cooking on a moving train, takes pride in serving meals that comfort the soul as much as nourish the body. His vegetable soup, rich with herbs grown in his own garden, carries the essence of home and hearth. The bread, baked fresh that morning, fills the car with its yeasty aroma, while the butter, churned from cream provided by farms along the route, speaks of pastoral simplicity. Conversations in the dining car flow like gentle streams, unhurried and meandering. Passengers share stories of their destinations, their reasons for choosing night travel, and their appreciation for this slower pace of movement through the world. The train's rhythm provides a natural backdrop to these exchanges, its steady beat encouraging the kind of deep listening that modern life rarely allows. The dining car's windows offer a continuously changing view of the nighttime landscape. Passengers pause between bites to watch the moon's progress across the sky, to note the way shadows shift and change as the train follows curves in the track, and to appreciate the simple beauty of a world at rest. These moments of quiet observation become as nourishing as the food itself. The train's route follows a river valley for many miles, and the presence of water adds a new dimension to the journey's peaceful character. The river, broad and slow-moving, reflects the moonlight like a ribbon of liquid silver threading through the landscape. The train tracks run parallel to the water's edge, close enough that passengers can hear the gentle lapping of small waves against the shore. Moonlight transforms the river into something magical, its surface broken by the occasional rise of a fish or the passage of a night bird skimming low over the water. The reflection of the moon creates a pathway of light that seems to lead toward infinite distance, while stars scattered across the water's surface double the night sky's beauty. The train's own lights add to this celestial display, creating moving reflections that dance alongside the natural illumination. Along the riverbank, willows trail their branches in the water, creating gentle disturbances that send ripples across the moon's reflection. These trees, ancient and graceful, stand as silent sentinels, watching over the water's flow. Their presence adds to the sense of timelessness that pervades the journey, reminding passengers that this landscape has witnessed countless such nights, countless travelers seeking the peace that comes with movement through darkness toward dawn. Small boats rest at wooden docks, their hulls dark against the silver water. These vessels, used for fishing or simple pleasure, bob gently in the train's wake, their motion adding to the hypnotic quality of the scene. Occasionally, a houseboat appears, its windows glowing warmly, smoke rising from a chimney to dissipate in the cool night air. These floating homes represent another way of life, one even more closely connected to the water's rhythm than the train's passage. The sound of water adds its voice to the train's symphony. The gentle splash of waves against the shore, the gurgle of water around bridge pilings, and the soft whisper of current over stones create a natural music that blends perfectly with the mechanical rhythm of wheels on rails. This combination of sounds induces a meditative state, encouraging passengers to release their hold on conscious thought and drift toward the edge of sleep. Bridges span the river at regular intervals, each one offering a moment of different perspective as the train crosses from one bank to the other. These structures, built with the solid craftsmanship of earlier eras, carry the train safely over the water while providing passengers with brief, elevated views of the river's meandering course. The sound changes as the train crosses each bridge, the rhythm of wheels on rails taking on a different quality that adds variety to the journey's soundtrack. Beyond the dining car lies the train's crown jewel, the observation car, with its magnificent glass dome that opens the night sky to passengers seeking the ultimate connection with the celestial display above. This car, designed specifically for contemplation and wonder, features comfortable reclining seats, arranged to provide unobstructed views of the heavens while maintaining the intimate atmosphere that defines the entire journey. The dome car's curved glass ceiling creates the sensation of traveling within a moving planetarium, where constellations wheel slowly overhead as the train follows its earthbound path. Passengers settle into the plush seating with blankets provided by attentive staff, their faces turned upward to witness the ancient drama of stars and planets playing out against the infinite backdrop of space. Tonight, the Milky Way stretches across the sky like a gossamer bridge, connecting distant shores of darkness. The absence of city lights along this rural route allows the full glory of the galaxy to reveal itself, its countless stars creating a river of light that flows parallel to the earthly river below. Passengers find themselves naturally speaking in whispers, as if loud voices might somehow disturb the cosmic harmony unfolding above. An amateur astronomer among the passengers, a retired professor with gentle eyes and infinite patience, shares his knowledge with anyone interested in learning. He points out constellations with a small red flashlight, its beam barely disturbing the darkness while illuminating the star patterns that have guided travelers for millennia. His voice, soft and filled with wonder despite decades of study, adds educational depth to the visual feast overhead. The Great Bear wheels slowly across the northern sky, its familiar pattern providing a sense of orientation and continuity. Cassiopeia, shaped like a celestial W, holds court in another quarter of the heavens, while the bright star Vega shines with particular brilliance near the zenith. These stellar landmarks, unchanged for centuries, connect the train's passengers to countless generations of night travelers who have found comfort in their reliable presence. Shooting stars occasionally streak across the dome, their brief brilliance causing passengers to gasp with delight and make silent wishes. These meteors, burning up in the atmosphere high above, add moments of excitement to the otherwise peaceful contemplation. The professor explains that these are likely particles from an ancient comet, their final moments creating beauty for earthbound observers millions of miles below their fiery demise. The train's gentle motion adds a unique quality to stargazing as the dome's orientation slowly shifts, bringing different portions of the sky into view. This movement, imperceptible moment by moment but noticeable over time, creates a sense of participation in the cosmic dance. Passengers feel themselves to be part of the universe's grand motion, spinning through space on their small planet while their train carries them across its surface. In the quiet cars, where passengers settle for the long journey ahead, conversations develop with the organic flow of water finding its course. These exchanges, conducted in hushed tones that respect the peaceful atmosphere, create connections between strangers who might never meet again, but who share this singular experience of nighttime travel. An elderly woman with silver hair and kind eyes shares stories of train travel from decades past, when such journeys were the primary means of long-distance transportation. Her voice carries the music of memory as she describes the grand stations of her youth, the formal dining cars with their white-gloved service, and the sense of adventure that accompanied every departure. Her stories paint pictures of an era when travel was ceremony, when passengers dressed for the journey as they would for important occasions. A young couple, honeymooners perhaps, speak softly of their dreams and plans, their voices blending with the train's rhythm as they share hopes for the future. Their conversation, though private, adds to the car's atmosphere of intimacy and connection. They point out sights through the window to each other, their shared wonder at the moonlit landscape creating moments of perfect harmony between human love and natural beauty. A businessman, his tie loosened and his usual urgency replaced by the train's enforced patience, finds himself in conversation with a farmer returning from market. These two men, from different worlds in their daily lives, discover common ground in their appreciation for the journey's peaceful pace. The farmer speaks of seasons and cycles, of the rhythm of planting and harvest that mirrors the train's steady progress through the night. A mother traveling with her young daughter creates a cocoon of comfort around their seats. The child's sleepy questions about the passing landscape answered with gentle patience. The mother's voice, soft and melodious, weaves explanations and stories that transform the journey into an educational adventure. Her daughter's eyes grow heavy as the train's motion combines with her mother's soothing words to encourage the approach of sleep. The conversations ebb and flow like tides, sometimes animated with shared discoveries, visible through the windows, sometimes falling into comfortable silences as passengers contemplate the passing scene. These natural rhythms of speech and quiet create a social music that complements the mechanical symphony of the train's progress. A writer, notebook balanced on her lap, captures impressions of the journey in careful script. Her pen moves across the page with the same steady rhythm as the train's wheels, recording not just the visual beauty of the night, but the emotional resonance of shared travel. Her presence adds an artistic dimension to the journey, as if the experience itself is being transformed into something permanent and beautiful. The conductor begins his evening rounds as the train settles into its overnight rhythm, his presence a reassuring constant that connects all the cars in a chain of care and attention. His footsteps in the aisles create their own gentle percussion, a counterpoint to the wheel's steady beat that passengers find comforting rather than intrusive. His uniform, pressed and proper despite the long day, speaks of professional pride and dedication to the travelers in his charge. Each car receives his careful attention as he checks tickets, adjusts lighting to comfortable levels for evening travel, and ensures that all passengers have what they need for the night ahead. His movements through the train are practiced and efficient, yet never hurried, embodying the unhurried philosophy that defines this particular journey. He carries with him a small leather portfolio containing the evening's passenger manifest, each name representing a person seeking the peace that only night travel can provide. In the sleeping cars, he assists passengers with the conversion of day seats into comfortable berths, his experienced hands making quick work of the mechanical transformations that turn the car into a moving hotel. The upper berths fold down with well-oiled precision, while the lower seats extend and flatten to create beds that, while compact, offer surprising comfort. Fresh linens, crisp and clean, transform these spaces into private sanctuaries for the night's rest. The conductor's knowledge extends far beyond mere ticket collection and berth preparation. He serves as an informal guide to the journey, sharing information about landmarks visible from the train, estimated arrival times at various stations, and the history of the route itself. His voice, cultured and warm, carries the authority of experience, combined with genuine care for his passengers' comfort and enjoyment. His lantern, a traditional railroad signal light that serves more ceremonial than practical purposes in the modern era, casts warm circles of light as he moves through the cars. This light, amber and gentle, adds to the nostalgic atmosphere that pervades the journey. Passengers often look up from their books or conversations to nod acknowledgement as he passes, his presence a reminder of the human care that makes their journey possible. The conductor's evening routine includes a stop in the dining car, where he confers quietly with the chef about the night's service and the special dietary needs of various passengers. These conversations, conducted in professional whispers, demonstrate the level of attention paid to every detail of the passenger experience. The train operates as a small, mobile community, and the conductor serves as its mayor, ensuring that all residents enjoy their temporary citizenship. His final rounds of the evening take him through each car one more time, dimming lights to levels appropriate for rest, checking that windows are properly secured against the night air, and ensuring that the heating systems maintain comfortable temperatures throughout the train. These tasks, performed with quiet efficiency, create the conditions necessary for peaceful sleep, while the train continues its journey through the darkness. As the evening deepens into true night, the train's symphony of sounds settles into its most soothing configuration. The primary rhythm remains the steady click-clack of wheels on rails, but this mechanical heartbeat now supports a complex arrangement of subtle sounds that create the perfect environment for rest and relaxation. Each sound contributes to the overall effect, building layers of audio comfort that encourage passengers to release their hold on wakefulness. The gentle hiss of the heating system provides a constant, barely audible backdrop, like the whisper of wind through distant trees. This sound, neither intrusive nor absent, creates a sense of enclosed comfort, reminding passengers that they travel within a protective shell that shields them from the night's chill, while allowing them to appreciate its beauty. The temperature remains perfectly controlled, neither too warm nor too cool, maintaining the ideal conditions for the approach of sleep. Occasionally, the locomotive's whistle sounds in the distance, its call now muted and melodious, rather than sharp and urgent. These signals, required at certain crossings and junctions, become part of the night's music, rather than disruptions to its peace. The whistle's voice carries across the landscape, announcing the train's passage to the scattered farms and sleeping villages along the route, its sound fading into the darkness like a lullaby sung to the countryside itself. The train's gentle swaying motion, caused by the natural flexibility built into its suspension system, creates a rocking sensation that mimics the most fundamental comfort known to human beings. This motion, side to side and slightly forward and back, triggers deep memories of being rocked to sleep, of cradles and rocking chairs, and the arms of loving caregivers. The engineering that creates this motion represents decades of refinement, designed specifically to induce the relaxation that leads to rest. Within the cars, smaller sounds contribute to the overall atmosphere of peace. The soft rustle of pages turning as passengers read by the gentle light. The quiet whisper of conversations growing softer as the night progresses, and the occasional creak of the car's wooden fittings as they adjust to temperature changes. These sounds, far from being distractions, become part of the comforting environment that surrounds each traveler. The dining car contributes its own gentle sounds. The soft clink of china as the last evening service is cleared away, the whisper of cloth as tables are reset for morning, and the quiet efficiency of staff preparing for the night ahead. These sounds speak of care and attention, of a crew dedicated to ensuring that every aspect of the journey contributes to passenger comfort and satisfaction. Outside the train, the night world adds its voice to the symphony. The rush of air past the windows creates a constant, soothing whisper, while the occasional passage through a tunnel or under a bridge briefly changes the acoustic environment, adding variety to the auditory experience. These changes, subtle but noticeable, help mark the passage of time and distance without jarring passengers from their peaceful state. The sleeping car transforms as evening gives way to night. Its daytime configuration of seats and social spaces yielding to the intimate privacy of individual berths and the hushed atmosphere appropriate for rest. Heavy curtains drawn across each sleeping space create private worlds within the larger community of the car, allowing passengers to retreat into personal sanctuaries while remaining part of the train's gentle motion through the darkness. Each berth, though compact, has been designed with careful attention to the needs of the nighttime traveler. The bed, firm yet comfortable, supports the body while allowing the train's gentle motion to provide the rocking sensation that encourages sleep. Fresh linens, changed for each passenger, carry the clean scent of proper laundering and the subtle fragrance of lavender sachets placed discreetly within the bedding. These small touches demonstrate the care taken to ensure that every detail contributes to passenger comfort. The berth's appointments include a small reading light with a warm amber bulb that provides sufficient illumination for those who wish to read themselves to sleep without disturbing neighboring passengers. A tiny fold-down table offers space for a book, a glass of water, or personal items needed during the night. The window, positioned perfectly for viewing the passing landscape, can be covered with a shade for those who prefer complete darkness. or left open for passengers who enjoy watching the moonlit world slide past. Personal privacy curtains, heavy and well fitted, create acoustic as well as visual separation between berths. The fabric, chosen for its sound dampening qualities, helps ensure that the natural sounds of fellow passengers preparing for sleep do not disturb the peaceful atmosphere. The curtain's deep blue color, nearly black, in the car's dimmed lighting, contributes to the sense of nighttime sanctuary that pervades the sleeping car. The car's central aisle, carpeted with thick material that muffles footsteps, allows for quiet movement between berths and to the car's facilities. Emergency lighting, kept to the minimum necessary for safety, provides just enough illumination for navigation without disturbing sleeping passengers. The overall effect creates an environment that encourages rest while maintaining the safety and comfort standards expected of modern rail travel. A porter, specially trained in the needs of overnight passengers, makes quiet rounds throughout the night, available to assist with any needs that might arise, but careful not to disturb those who have found sleep. His presence, though unobtrusive, adds to the sense of security and care that defines the sleeping car experience. He carries with him extra blankets, pillows, and other comfort items, anticipating needs before they are expressed. The sleeping car's heating and ventilation systems operate with particular attention to the needs of resting passengers. Fresh air circulates constantly but gently, maintaining optimal oxygen levels without creating drafts that might disturb sleep. The temperature remains steady throughout the night, adjusted for the natural cooling that occurs as the train travels through different elevations and climate zones along its route. As the night deepens and passengers begin to surrender to sleep, the train becomes a vessel carrying not just bodies but dreams through the darkness. In the sleeping cars, behind drawn curtains, travelers drift into the realm of unconscious wandering, while their physical forms continue the earthbound journey on rails of steel. The train's gentle motion weaves itself into these dreams, creating sleep experiences unique to railway travel. The rhythm of wheels on track becomes the heartbeat of collective dreaming, a shared pulse that connects the sleeping passengers in ways they will never consciously know. Some dream of flying, the train's forward motion translating into soaring flight over moonlit landscapes. Others find themselves in childhood memories of rocking chairs and lullabies, the train's sway triggering the deepest comfort responses embedded in human memory. Through the windows of the sleeping cars, distant lights punctuate the darkness like scattered stars fallen to earth. These lights tell stories of their own. A farmhouse where a new mother tends her infant, a lighthouse keeper maintaining his vigil over dangerous waters, a night shift worker taking a moment to step outside and breathe the cool air. Each light represents a life continuing its course through the night hours, creating a sense of connection between the train's passengers and the wider world of nocturnal activity. The train passes a small airport where a single runway light marks the landing strip for emergency flights. The beacon rotates slowly, its beams sweeping across the countryside in regular intervals, creating brief moments of illumination that reveal details of the landscape before returning it to darkness. This light, dedicated to safety and service, mirrors the train's own mission of carrying passengers safely through the night. A radio tower blinks its warning lights in steady rhythm, red beacons that prevent aircraft collisions while adding their own pulse to the night's visual symphony. These lights, purely functional in purpose, take on aesthetic beauty, When viewed from the train's windows, their regular flashing, creating a hypnotic pattern that draws the eye and soothes the mind. The tower itself, invisible in the darkness, exists only as these floating points of light suspended in the night sky. In the distance, a small city glows with the collective illumination of thousands of individual lights. Street lamps line invisible roads, house windows create warm rectangles of yellow light, and the occasional neon sign adds splashes of color to the urban constellation. The train skirts this populated area close enough to appreciate the beauty of human habitation, but far enough to maintain the peaceful isolation that defines the journey. The observation car, still occupied by a few dedicated stargazers, offers the best vantage point for appreciating these terrestrial lights in context with their celestial counterparts. Passengers in this car experience the full spectrum of nighttime illumination, from the ancient light of distant stars to the immediate glow of human activity. This perspective creates a sense of scale and wonder that enhances the journey's contemplative qualities. In the locomotive's cab, far ahead of the passenger cars, the engineer maintains his vigilant watch over the train's progress through the night. His position, isolated from the social atmosphere of the passenger compartments, requires a different kind of focus and dedication. The cab, illuminated by the soft glow of instrument panels and gauges, creates its own world of professional responsibility and quiet pride. The engineer's hands rest lightly on the controls, feeling through the machinery the train's response to every curve, every grade, every mile of track. His experience, accumulated over decades of night runs, allows him to sense the subtle changes in the train's behavior that indicate track conditions, weather effects, and the mechanical health of the locomotive itself. This tactile connection between human operator and machine represents one of the last bastions of hands-on craftsmanship in an increasingly automated world. The headlight beam stretches ahead into the darkness, illuminating the rails that guide the train's path. This cone of light reveals the immediate future of the journey. The next curve, the approaching grade crossing, the wildlife that occasionally ventures onto the tracks. The engineer's eyes, trained by years of night driving, read this illuminated corridor like a book, interpreting every shadow and reflection for information about the route ahead. Radio communication with dispatchers along the route provides updates on track conditions, weather reports, and coordination with other trains sharing the rail network. These conversations, conducted in the professional shorthand of railroad operations, maintain the safety protocols that allow passenger trains to operate with their remarkable safety record. The engineer's voice, calm and professional, contributes to a network of communication that spans the continent. The locomotive's diesel engine maintains its steady rhythm, a powerful heartbeat that drives the entire train through the night. The engineer monitors its performance through an array of gauges and indicators, each one providing information about temperature, pressure, fuel consumption, and mechanical condition. This constant attention to detail ensures that the passengers in the cars behind can focus on rest and relaxation while their transportation remains reliable and safe. Through the cab's side windows, the engineer observes the same moonlit landscape that enchants his passengers, but his perspective carries the additional dimension of professional responsibility. He notes weather conditions that might affect rail adhesion, watches for animals that might wander onto the tracks, and maintains awareness of the schedule that governs the train's arrival at stations along the route. The engineer's solitary vigil represents a tradition that stretches back to the earliest days of rail transportation. His role, though supported by modern technology and safety systems, still requires the human judgment and experience that no machine can fully replace. In the quiet hours of night travel, he serves as the guardian of his passengers' safety, a responsibility he carries with quiet dignity and professional pride. The train's schedule includes several brief stops at small stations scattered along the route, each one a momentary interruption in the journey's flowing rhythm. These stations, often little more than platforms with simple shelters, serve communities too small to warrant major rail facilities but important enough to maintain their connection to the wider world through the night train's regular service. The first midnight stop occurs in a town that seems to exist solely for the railroad's convenience. The station, built in an earlier era when rail travel dominated long-distance transportation, maintains its dignity despite decades of reduced service. A single light illuminates the platform, casting a warm glow over wooden benches and carefully maintained flower boxes that speak of community pride and care. No passengers board or disembark at this stop, but the pause serves operational purposes. The exchange of mail bags, the delivery of newspapers for morning distribution, and the brief inspection that ensures the train's continued safe operation. The conductor steps onto the platform, his lantern creating moving circles of light as he performs his duties with practiced efficiency. These few minutes of stillness emphasize the train's motion when it resumes, the contrast making passengers more aware of the journey's peaceful progress. The station's waiting room, visible through windows that glow with warm interior light, contains the essentials of small-town transportation: wooden benches polished smooth by generations of travelers, a pot-bellied stove that provides heat during winter months, and bulletin boards covered with community notices and train schedules. Though empty at this hour, the room maintains its readiness to serve, a testament to the enduring importance of rail connections in rural communities. A second stop, 30 miles further along the route, serves a slightly larger community where the station includes a small cafe that caters to train crews and the occasional passenger seeking refreshment during brief layovers. The cafe's windows cast rectangles of yellow light across the platform, and the aroma of coffee and fresh pastry drifts through the night air. The establishment, family-owned for 3 generations, represents the symbiotic relationship between railroads and the communities they serve. The train's brief pause at each station creates moments of different acoustic environment. The steady rhythm of wheels on rails gives way to the sounds of idling engines, the hiss of air brakes, and the quiet conversations of crew members performing their duties. These interludes, far from disrupting the journey's peaceful character, add variety and interest to the night's progression. At the final midnight stop, a small city that serves as a regional hub, the train takes on additional passengers: night shift workers heading home, travelers beginning their own journeys, and the occasional insomniac seeking the train's particular brand of moving meditation. These new passengers, briefed by the conductor on the train's overnight protocols, quickly adapt to the peaceful atmosphere that pervades the cars. Even in the deep hours of night, the dining car maintains a modified service for passengers who find themselves wakeful and in need of gentle sustenance. The car's atmosphere during these late hours takes on an even more intimate quality, with reduced lighting that creates pools of warm illumination around occupied tables while leaving much of the space in comfortable shadow. The late-night menu focuses on comfort foods that soothe rather than stimulate: warm milk with honey, herbal teas selected for their calming properties, and simple sandwiches made with ingredients that satisfy without overwhelming the digestive system. The kitchen staff, reduced to a single attendant during these hours, takes special care in the preparation of these modest offerings, understanding that late-night hunger often carries emotional as well as physical components. A businessman, unable to sleep despite the train's soporific motion, sits alone at a corner table with a cup of chamomile tea and a book of poetry. The gentle light from his table lamp illuminates the pages while leaving his face in soft shadow, creating an image of contemplative solitude that epitomizes the night train experience. His occasional glances toward the window reveal his appreciation for the passing landscape, though the darkness now conceals most details beyond the immediate trackside. An elderly woman, a regular passenger on this route, occupies her customary table near the car's center. She sips warm milk while working on a crossword puzzle, her movements deliberate and peaceful. The dining car staff know her preferences and dietary restrictions, serving her without need for conversation beyond gentle acknowledgments. Her presence adds to the car's atmosphere of familiar comfort, like a favorite aunt in a family gathering. The car's windows, now reflecting the interior lighting more than revealing the outside world, create a sense of enclosed intimacy. Passengers can see their own reflections overlaid on the darkness beyond, a visual metaphor for the introspective quality that night travel encourages. These reflected images, ghostly and shifting with the train's motion, add to the dreamlike quality of the late-night dining experience. The reduced service creates opportunities for more personal interaction between staff and passengers. The single attendant, freed from the demands of full meal service, can spend time in genuine conversation with those who seek human connection during the quiet hours. These exchanges, conducted in voices naturally lowered by the night's influence, create bonds that transform strangers into temporary friends, united by their shared experience of nocturnal travel. The dining car's late-night service represents more than mere food provision. It serves as a social sanctuary for those who find sleep elusive, a place where insomnia becomes companionship and solitude transforms into peaceful community. The car's warm light and gentle service create an oasis of comfort within the larger journey, ensuring that no passenger need face the night hours entirely alone. The night brings with it a gentle weather system that enhances rather than threatens the train's peaceful journey. Light clouds drift across the moon's face, creating constantly changing patterns of illumination that transform the landscape into a shifting canvas of light and shadow. These clouds, neither dense enough to obscure the stars nor threatening enough to suggest storms, add visual interest to the night sky while maintaining the serene atmosphere that defines the journey. A light mist begins to form in the valleys through which the train passes, creating ethereal effects as the locomotive's headlight penetrates the gossamer veils of moisture. This mist, neither fog dense enough to impede visibility, nor rain heavy enough to drum against the windows, adds a mystical quality to the passing scenery. Trees emerge from and disappear into the mist like ghostly sentinels, while distant hills become suggestions rather than solid forms. The temperature outside drops gradually as the night progresses, creating perfect conditions for the mist formation, while encouraging passengers to appreciate the warmth and comfort of their moving sanctuary. Windows begin to show the faintest trace of condensation, evidence of the temperature differential between the heated interior and the cooling night air. This physical manifestation of comfort and protection adds to passengers' sense of security and well-being. Inside the train, the heating system responds automatically to the external temperature changes, maintaining perfect comfort without the mechanical noise that might disturb sleeping passengers. The system's quiet efficiency represents decades of engineering refinement designed specifically to support the peaceful environment that night trains require. Passengers remain unaware of the constant adjustments being made to ensure their comfort, free to focus on rest and relaxation. The mist creates interesting effects with the train's lighting, causing the beam from the locomotive's headlight to become visible as a cone of illumination stretching into the darkness. This phenomenon, similar to the way car headlights become visible in fog, adds drama to the night without creating any sense of danger or concern. The effect enhances the journey's visual appeal while maintaining the safety standards that allow passengers to rest without worry. Weather stations along the route report the gentle conditions to the train's crew, confirming that the night will remain peaceful and conducive to comfortable travel. These reports, transmitted by radio to the locomotive's cab, provide the engineer with advance notice of conditions ahead, allowing for any minor adjustments to speed or route that might enhance passenger comfort. The atmospheric conditions create perfect acoustics for the train's passage, with the mist and stable air temperature combining to carry the sound of the locomotive's whistle farther than usual. These distant echoes, bouncing off hills and valleys shrouded in mist, create a haunting beauty that adds to the night's mystical quality. Passengers in the observation car particularly appreciate these audio effects, which seem to connect the train to the larger landscape through which it travels. Throughout the night, the train's porter moves with ghost-like efficiency through the sleeping cars, his presence felt more than seen as he tends to the needs of passengers who have surrendered to rest. His soft-soled shoes make no sound on the carpeted aisles, and his movements, perfected through years of night service, disturb neither sleeper nor the peaceful atmosphere that pervades the darkened cars. The porter's duties extend far beyond the simple maintenance tasks that occupy his daylight hours. During these quiet night hours, he becomes a guardian of comfort, adjusting the car's temperature in response to the changing external conditions, ensuring that ventilation systems provide fresh air without creating drafts, and monitoring the subtle sounds that indicate all systems function properly. His trained ear can detect the slightest variation in the train's mechanical symphony, alerting him to potential issues before they affect passenger comfort. Each sleeping berth receives his careful attention as he makes his rounds. A curtain that has worked loose receives gentle adjustment. A reading light left burning is dimmed to its lowest setting, and a passenger's shoes left in the aisle are quietly moved to prevent stumbling hazards. These small acts of service, performed without recognition or thanks, demonstrate the dedication that makes night train travel the peaceful experience passengers expect. The porter carries with him a small bag containing items that experience has taught him passengers might need during the night. Extra blankets for those who find the standard bedding insufficient, small pillows for travelers who prefer additional head support, and packets of herbal tea for passengers who wake and cannot immediately return to sleep. His anticipation of needs before they are expressed represents the highest level of hospitality service. In the observation car, where a few dedicated stargazers maintain their vigil, the porter ensures that blankets remain available and that the car's heating system compensates for the additional heat loss through the glass dome. His presence in this car is particularly unobtrusive, as he understands that passengers here seek solitude and contemplation rather than active service. A gentle nod acknowledges their presence without intruding on their peaceful observation of the night sky. The porter's knowledge of regular passengers, those who travel this route frequently, allows him to provide personalized service that transforms the journey from mere transportation into genuine hospitality. He remembers preferences for berth location, temperature settings, and wake-up times, creating an experience that feels more like staying in a fine hotel than traveling on public transportation. His radio, set to its lowest volume and equipped with an earpiece to prevent disturbing sleeping passengers, keeps him in contact with other crew members throughout the train. These communications, conducted in whispers and professional codes, coordinate the night's service while maintaining the peaceful environment that passengers require for rest. As the train carries its sleeping passengers through the night, their dreams take on the quality of the journey itself, filled with motion and distant horizons. The gentle swaying of the cars weaves itself into unconscious narratives, creating sleep experiences that blend the physical sensation of travel with the mind's unlimited capacity for imagination. These dreams, influenced by the train's rhythm and the knowledge of movement through space, often feature themes of exploration and discovery. A businessman, his daily concerns dissolved in sleep, dreams of walking through vast landscapes that mirror the terrain visible from his window during waking hours. In his dream, he moves with the same steady pace as the train, covering great distances without effort or fatigue. The dream landscape, painted in the silver tones of moonlight, stretches endlessly ahead, offering the promise of destinations yet unknown and experiences yet to be lived. The young mother, her daughter sleeping peacefully in the berth beside her, dreams of her own childhood train journeys with grandparents who understood the magic of rail travel. In her dream, she is once again a child pressed against a window, watching the world slide past, while adult voices provide a comforting backdrop of security and care. The dream merges past and present, connecting generations through the shared experience of nocturnal travel. An elderly gentleman, a retired teacher whose love of geography made him a natural train traveler, dreams of the great railway journeys of history. The Orient Express crossing Europe in its golden age, the Trans-Siberian Railway spanning continents, and the great American trains that connected coast to coast in the era before air travel. His dream places him in the observation cars of these legendary trains, witnessing landscapes and cultures that shaped the modern world. The writer, her notebook closed beside her sleeping form, dreams of stories that write themselves, narratives that unfold with the same organic rhythm as the train's progress through the night. In her dream, words flow like the landscape outside her window, each sentence building upon the last to create meaning and beauty. The train's motion becomes the pulse of her dream prose, steady and reliable, carrying her story toward its inevitable conclusion. A young man traveling to begin a new job in a distant city dreams of the future that awaits him at journey's end. His dream transforms anxiety into anticipation, uncertainty into adventure. The train in his dream becomes a bridge between his past and future, carrying him not just through physical space, but through the emotional transition that major life changes require. The dreams of all passengers seem to share certain qualities: the sense of movement toward something better, the comfort of being carried rather than having to navigate independently, and the peace that comes from surrendering control to forces larger than oneself. These shared dream themes, though experienced individually, create an unconscious bond among the sleeping travelers, connecting them through the universal human experience of hope and journey. Behind the passenger cars, the baggage car carries its own collection of stories, each piece of luggage representing a life in transition, a journey undertaken for reasons both practical and profound. The car, dimly lit and efficiently organized, contains the material possessions that passengers deemed essential for their travels. But more importantly, it holds the emotional weight of belongings that connect travelers to their origins and destinations. Suitcases of every description fill the car's organized storage areas. Well-traveled leather cases that speak of frequent journeys, modern wheeled bags designed for efficiency, and vintage trunks that recall an era when travel was a more formal affair. Each piece of luggage tells a story through its wear patterns, destination tags, and the careful way it has been packed by hands that understand the importance of bringing pieces of home on distant journeys. A large steamer trunk, its brass fittings polished despite obvious age, contains the possessions of an elderly woman relocating to live near her children. The trunk, packed with photographs, letters, and small treasures accumulated over decades, represents not just a change of residence, but the compression of a lifetime's memories into portable form. Its presence in the baggage car speaks to the courage required to begin anew in the later years of life. Several military duffel bags, their olive drab color and regulation size identifying their owners as service members, contain the practical belongings of young people in transition between duty stations. These bags, packed with the efficiency that military life demands, represent lives lived in constant readiness for movement, for adaptation to new circumstances and challenges. A collection of musical instrument cases reveals the presence of traveling performers, their livelihood contained in carefully protected instruments that must arrive at destinations in perfect condition. A violin case, its exterior worn smooth by countless journeys, sits beside a guitar case decorated with travel stickers from venues across the continent. These cases represent not just possessions, but the tools of artistic expression, the means by which their owners create beauty and meaning in the world. Children's belongings occupy their own section of the car, smaller suitcases and backpacks that contain the treasures important to young travelers, favorite toys, books, and clothes chosen for their comfort rather than fashion. These smaller pieces of luggage, often decorated with cartoon characters or bright colors, represent the different priorities and perspectives that children bring to travel. Their focus on comfort and familiarity rather than efficiency or style. The baggage car's organization reflects the care taken to ensure that each passenger's belongings arrive safely at their destination. Tags and routing slips, filled out in careful handwriting, provide multiple layers of identification and tracking. The baggage handlers, though unseen by passengers, take pride in their role as guardians of these material connections to home and identity. While passengers sleep peacefully in their berths, a different kind of activity continues throughout the train as maintenance crews perform the essential tasks that keep the journey safe and comfortable. These workers, moving with practiced quiet through the mechanical spaces of the train, represent the unseen dedication that makes passenger rail travel possible. Their work, conducted in the shadows and service areas invisible to travelers, ensures that every system functions properly throughout the night. In the locomotive's engine compartment, a mechanic performs routine checks on the diesel engine that powers the train through the darkness. His flashlight beam moves systematically across gauges and connections, looking for signs of wear or malfunction that might affect the journey's safety or comfort. The engine's steady rhythm, so soothing to passengers, requires constant attention to maintain its reliability. Oil levels, coolant temperatures, and fuel consumption rates all receive careful monitoring. The electrical systems that provide power throughout the train undergo their own nighttime inspection. A technician moves through service corridors, checking connections and monitoring the generators that supply electricity for lighting, heating, and the various comfort systems that passengers take for granted. His work ensures that the gentle illumination in sleeping cars, the warmth that maintains comfortable temperatures, and the ventilation that provides fresh air continue without interruption. Air brake systems, crucial for the train's safe operation, receive particular attention during these nighttime maintenance rounds. The complex network of airlines, valves, and brake cylinders that allow the engineer to control the train's speed and stopping requires regular inspection and adjustment. The maintenance crew's familiarity with these systems allows them to detect potential problems before they affect the train's operation. The heating and air conditioning systems, working constantly to maintain passenger comfort despite changing external conditions, undergo continuous monitoring and adjustment. Filters are checked and replaced as needed, thermostats are calibrated to ensure accurate temperature control, and the complex ductwork that distributes conditioned air throughout the train receives inspection for blockages or leaks. Water systems, essential for passenger comfort and sanitation, require careful attention during night operations. Fresh water tanks are monitored for adequate supply. Waste systems are checked for proper operation, and the complex plumbing that serves restrooms and food service areas receives regular inspection. These systems, though hidden from passenger view, play a crucial role in maintaining the civilized comfort that makes long-distance train travel pleasant. The maintenance crews work with the same quiet efficiency that characterizes all night train operations. Their tools are chosen for minimal noise production. Their movements are deliberate and careful to avoid disturbing sleeping passengers, and their communication is conducted in whispers and hand signals. These workers take pride in their ability to maintain complex mechanical systems while preserving the peaceful atmosphere that passengers expect. As the night reaches its deepest point, subtle changes begin to suggest the eventual approach of dawn, though sunrise remains hours away. The train continues its steady progress through the darkness, but experienced travelers notice the almost imperceptible shifts that indicate the night's slow progression toward morning. These changes, more felt than seen, add a sense of anticipation to the journey without disturbing its peaceful character. The moon, which has provided such beautiful illumination throughout the night, begins its own journey toward the western horizon. Its light, still bright and clear, now comes from a different angle, creating new patterns of shadow and illumination on the landscape. The changing moonlight transforms familiar sights into new configurations of beauty, reminding passengers that even in the apparent stillness of night, the universe continues its ancient dance of celestial motion. In the observation car, the most dedicated stargazers notice the subtle rotation of constellations across the dome of sky visible through the glass ceiling. The Great Bear has moved noticeably from its earlier position, while other star patterns have shifted in their eternal wheel around the North Star. These movements, imperceptible moment by moment but obvious over the span of hours, connect the train's passengers to the cosmic rhythms that govern all earthly experience. The air outside begins to carry the faintest hint of the temperature changes that precede dawn. Though sunrise is still hours away, the atmosphere starts its slow preparation for the day's warmth. This change, barely detectable except to the most sensitive instruments, affects the train's heating systems, which make minor adjustments to maintain passenger comfort as external conditions shift. Night-blooming flowers along the railway right-of-way begin to close their petals in preparation for daylight, while day-blooming species prepare for their own opening. These botanical rhythms, invisible to passengers, but part of the natural world through which the train passes, represent the constant cycle of rest and activity that governs all life. The train's passage through this changing landscape creates a connection between human travel and natural cycles. Early rising birds, though still hours from their dawn chorus, begin the subtle stirrings that will eventually lead to the celebration of sunrise. Their movements, barely perceptible in the darkness, add to the sense of anticipation that characterizes the deepest hours of night. The train passes through their territories without disturbing their rest, maintaining the respectful relationship between human technology and natural habitat. The train's crew, though maintaining their vigilant attention to passenger comfort and safety, also sense the night's progression toward dawn. Their experience with countless overnight journeys gives them an intuitive understanding of the night's rhythms, allowing them to anticipate the subtle changes in passenger needs and train operation that accompany the approach of morning. This expertise, accumulated over years of night service, ensures that the transition from night to dawn occurs seamlessly for sleeping passengers. In a car positioned strategically within the train's consist, the mail service continues its essential work through the night hours, connecting distant communities through the exchange of letters, packages, and official documents. This car, though invisible to passengers, represents one of the railroad's most important public services, maintaining communication links that bind the nation together through the reliable movement of correspondence. The mail car's interior, organized with the precision of a well-run post office, contains sorting equipment and storage systems designed specifically for the challenges of processing mail while in motion. Experienced postal workers, their movements adapted to the train's gentle swaying, continue their sorting and routing tasks with the same dedication they would show in a stationary facility. Their work, conducted in near silence to avoid disturbing sleeping passengers in nearby cars, demonstrates the professionalism that makes rail mail service reliable and efficient. Canvas bags filled with letters and small packages occupy designated areas within the car, each bag labeled with destination information that will guide its handling at stations along the route. These bags represent thousands of individual communications: love letters between separated couples, business correspondence that keeps commerce flowing, and family news that maintains connections across great distances. The mail car serves as a repository of human connection, carrying the written words that bind communities and relationships together. Sorting tables, equipped with special rails and restraints to prevent materials from sliding during the train's motion, allow postal workers to process mail efficiently, despite the challenges of working in a moving environment. The workers' expertise developed through years of rail mail service, enables them to maintain the same accuracy and speed they would achieve in stationary facilities. Their dedication ensures that mail reaches its intended recipients on schedule, regardless of weather or other transportation challenges. Special handling procedures govern the processing of registered mail, valuable packages, and official government correspondence. These items receive additional security measures and careful tracking to ensure their safe delivery. The responsibility of handling such important materials adds gravity to the postal workers' duties, making them guardians of communications that may affect lives and livelihoods. The mail car's connection to stations along the route involves carefully choreographed exchanges that occur during the train's brief stops. Mail bags destined for local delivery are removed, while bags containing outgoing mail are loaded for transport to distant destinations. These exchanges, conducted with military precision, ensure that the flow of mail continues uninterrupted despite the train's schedule constraints. The postal workers take pride in their role as facilitators of human communication, understanding that their nighttime labors enable connections that might otherwise be impossible. Their work, though largely invisible to the public, represents an essential service that predates modern electronic communication and continues to serve communities that depend on reliable mail delivery. The mail car's presence on the night train demonstrates the railroad's commitment to serving public needs beyond mere passenger transportation. In the quiet of his small office within the train, the conductor maintains the detailed records that document every aspect of the night's journey. His logbook, bound in leather and filled with pages of careful handwriting, serves as both operational record and historical document, capturing the details that transform a routine trip into a permanent record of service and dedication. Each entry in the logbook reflects the conductor's attention to detail and professional pride. Departure times from stations, passenger counts, weather conditions, and mechanical performance all receive careful documentation. These records, though required by railroad regulations, also serve as a personal testament to the conductor's commitment to excellence in passenger service. His handwriting, clear and precise, despite the train's motion, demonstrates the skill developed through years of mobile record keeping. The logbook contains more than mere operational data. It captures the human elements that make each journey unique. Notes about passenger assistance provided, special accommodations made for travelers with particular needs, and observations about the night's atmospheric conditions add personality to the official record. These details, though not required by regulation, reflect the conductor's understanding that his role extends beyond mere rule compliance to genuine care for passenger welfare. Weather observations receive particular attention in the night's entries, as the conductor's position provides unique perspective on changing conditions along the route. His notes about temperature variations, wind patterns, and atmospheric visibility help create a comprehensive picture of the night's travel conditions. This information, valuable for future trip planning and safety considerations, demonstrates the conductor's role as an observer and recorder of the railroad's operating environment. Passenger interactions, though described with professional discretion, add human interest to the logbook's pages. The conductor notes assistance provided to elderly travelers, accommodations made for families with children, and the general atmosphere of contentment that characterizes successful night train service. These observations, recorded without violating passenger privacy, create a picture of the train as a community in motion. The logbook also serves as a communication tool between crew members, on different shifts. Notes about mechanical observations, passenger preferences, and operational considerations provide valuable information for crews who will handle the train's return journey. This continuity of information ensures that high service standards are maintained regardless of personnel changes. The act of writing in the logbook provides the conductor with moments of quiet reflection during the night's duties. The process of recording the journey's details requires him to consider and evaluate each aspect of the service provided, creating opportunities for continuous improvement in passenger care. His entries, though brief and professional, reflect a deep understanding of the responsibility involved in safely and comfortably transporting people through the night. In the few cars where passengers remain awake, conversations take on the special quality that characterizes human interaction during the deep hours of night. These exchanges, conducted in voices naturally lowered by the darkness and the presence of sleeping fellow travelers, create bonds of temporary intimacy that transform strangers into confidants, sharing the unique experience of nocturnal travel. Two businessmen, initially seated separately but drawn together by their mutual insomnia, find themselves discussing not the usual topics of commerce and competition, but the deeper questions that night travel seems to encourage. Their conversation, ranging from childhood memories of train travel to philosophical reflections on the nature of journey and destination, demonstrates how the night train environment strips away professional facades to reveal more authentic human connection. An elderly woman, a frequent traveler on this route, shares stories of the railroad's golden age with a young couple experiencing their first overnight train journey. Her tales of elegant dining service, formal dress codes, and the social rituals that once characterized long-distance rail travel provide historical context for the current journey, while highlighting the enduring appeal of train travel across generations. The train's gentle motion seems to encourage a particular type of conversation, one that meanders like the tracks themselves, following natural curves of thought and memory, rather than the direct lines of typical social interaction. Passengers find themselves sharing personal stories they might never reveal in other circumstances, the combination of darkness, motion, and temporary community creating conditions for unusual openness and trust. A writer, her notebook temporarily closed, engages in conversation with a retired teacher about the relationship between travel and creativity. Their discussion explores how movement through space seems to stimulate movement of thought, how the rhythm of rails parallels the rhythm of language, and how the temporary nature of train travel creates perfect conditions for reflection and artistic inspiration. The observation car, with its dome of stars overhead, provides a particularly conducive environment for philosophical conversation. Passengers sharing this space find their discussions naturally turning to questions of scale and meaning, inspired by the vast night sky visible through the glass ceiling. The contrast between human concerns and cosmic perspective creates a unique backdrop for exploring life's larger questions. These nighttime conversations, though they may never be repeated or continued beyond the journey's end, serve an important function in the passenger's experience. They provide human connection during the potentially isolating hours of night travel, create shared memories that enhance the journey's meaning, and demonstrate the train's role as more than mere transportation. It serves as a catalyst for human understanding and connection. Even in the deepest hours of night, the train's kitchen maintains a level of activity as staff prepare for the morning service that will greet passengers as they wake from their night's rest. The kitchen, compact but efficiently designed, becomes a center of quiet industry as experienced cooks work with practiced movements to ensure that breakfast will be ready when travelers emerge from their sleeping berths. The head chef, his white coat pristine, despite the challenges of working in a moving kitchen, oversees the preparation of fresh bread that will fill the dining car with welcoming aromas as passengers begin their day. The bread, mixed and kneaded with techniques adapted to the train's motion, rises slowly in specially designed proofing boxes that accommodate the gentle swaying of the cars. This attention to detail ensures that passengers will wake to the comforting scent of baking bread. Coffee preparation receives particular attention during these pre-dawn hours, as the kitchen staff understands that the quality of morning coffee can determine passenger satisfaction with the entire journey. Premium beans, selected specifically for their ability to brew well in the train's unique water conditions, are ground fresh throughout the night. The brewing equipment, calibrated to account for altitude changes and water pressure variations, ensures consistent quality regardless of the train's location along its route. Fresh fruit, delivered to the train at the previous evening's major station stop, receives careful preparation for morning service. The kitchen staff's skill in selecting and preparing produce that will maintain its quality throughout the night demonstrates their commitment to serving meals that meet the highest standards. Despite the constraints of mobile food service, each piece of fruit is inspected and prepared with the same care that would be expected in a fine restaurant. The kitchen's organization reflects years of refinement in the art of mobile food service. Every tool has its designated place, secured against the train's motion but readily accessible when needed. Storage systems, designed specifically for railroad use, keep ingredients fresh and organized while preventing spillage or contamination during the train's movement. This specialized equipment represents the evolution of rail dining service over decades of continuous improvement. Breakfast preparations extend beyond mere food preparation to include the setting of tables in the dining car, the arrangement of flowers and table settings that will greet morning passengers, and the coordination of service timing to ensure that meals are available when travelers are ready to dine. This comprehensive approach to meal service demonstrates the staff's understanding that dining on the train should be an experience that enhances rather than merely sustains the journey. The kitchen staff takes particular pride in their ability to produce high-quality meals despite the unique challenges of their working environment. Their expertise, developed through years of rail service, enables them to adapt traditional cooking techniques to the constraints and opportunities of mobile food preparation. Their dedication ensures that passengers receive dining service that rivals the best stationary restaurants. As the night reaches its deepest point, the sleeping car becomes a sanctuary of rest, where the train's gentle motion combines with carefully controlled environmental conditions to create ideal circumstances for peaceful sleep. The car's systems, designed specifically to support overnight travel, work in harmony to maintain the comfort that allows passengers to wake refreshed and ready for their destination. The car's ventilation system operates with particular sophistication during the night hours, providing fresh air circulation that maintains optimal oxygen levels without creating drafts that might disturb sleeping passengers. The system's quiet operation, achieved through careful engineering and regular maintenance ensures that the mechanical necessities of air circulation do not intrude upon the peaceful atmosphere essential for rest. Temperature control throughout the sleeping car requires constant adjustment as external conditions change and as the train travels through different elevations and climate zones. The heating system responds automatically to these variations, maintaining the consistent warmth that passengers require for comfortable sleep. The system's sensors, distributed throughout the car, monitor conditions in individual berths to ensure that each passenger enjoys optimal comfort. The car's lighting system, reduced to its minimum safe levels during sleeping hours, provides just enough illumination to ensure passenger safety while preserving the darkness necessary for rest. Emergency lighting, strategically placed and carefully shielded, offers guidance without creating the bright spots that might disturb sleeping travelers. This balance between safety and comfort represents careful attention to the specific needs of overnight passengers. Sound control within the sleeping car involves multiple layers of engineering designed to minimize disturbances while maintaining the gentle sounds that actually promote rest. The car's construction includes sound dampening materials that reduce the transmission of noise between berths, while the mechanical systems are designed to operate at frequencies that blend harmoniously with the train's natural rhythm rather than competing with it. The sleeping car's attendant, though largely invisible during the night hours, maintains a vigilant presence that ensures passenger safety and comfort. His rounds, conducted with ghost-like quiet, include checks on the car's environmental systems, attention to any passenger needs that might arise, and coordination with other crew members to ensure seamless service. His presence provides security without intrusion, allowing passengers to rest with complete confidence in their safety. Individual berths within the car represent the culmination of decades of refinement in sleeping car design. Each space, though compact, includes all the amenities necessary for comfortable rest: adequate ventilation, appropriate lighting for reading, secure storage for personal items, and bedding that meets the highest standards of cleanliness and comfort. In the observation car's glass dome, the night sky reveals its full glory to the few passengers who maintain their vigil through the deepest hours of darkness. The absence of light pollution along this rural route allows the Milky Way to display its complete majesty, stretching across the heavens like a celestial river that mirrors the earthbound waterways visible during daylight hours. The stars, freed from the competition of artificial illumination, tell their ancient stories to anyone willing to listen. The amateur astronomer, still present despite the late hour, continues his gentle instruction for passengers interested in learning about the night sky. His knowledge, accumulated over decades of observation, transforms the random scatter of lights overhead into meaningful patterns and narratives. He points out the summer triangle formed by the bright stars Vega, Altair, and Deneb, explaining how these stellar beacons have guided travelers for thousands of years. The constellation Perseus rises in the northeast, carrying with it the story of the mythological hero who rescued Andromeda from the sea monster. The astronomer's voice, soft and filled with wonder, weaves together the scientific facts of stellar distances and compositions with the human stories that have been attached to these star patterns since civilization began. His audience, small but attentive, finds themselves transported beyond the physical journey of the train to participate in the larger journey of human understanding. Jupiter, the king of planets, shines with steady brilliance in the southern sky, its light unwavering, unlike the twinkling of the more distant stars. Through a small telescope that the astronomer has brought for the journey, passengers can glimpse the planet's largest moons, those same satellites that Galileo first observed 4 centuries ago. This connection to the history of human discovery adds depth to the simple act of looking upward. The Andromeda Galaxy, visible as a faint smudge of light to the naked eye, but revealed in greater detail through the telescope, represents the most distant object visible without optical aid. The astronomer explains that the light now reaching their eyes began its journey over 2 million years ago, when early human ancestors first walked upright on the African savanna. This perspective on cosmic time transforms the train's journey into a momentary event within the vast scale of universal history. Meteor showers, though not at their peak during this particular night, still provide occasional streaks of light across the dome. Each falling star, burning up in the atmosphere high above, creates a moment of shared wonder among the observation car's occupants. The astronomer explains the origin of these celestial visitors, fragments of ancient comets that continue their orbital dance around the sun, occasionally intersecting Earth's path through space. The North Star, Polaris, maintains its steady position in the northern sky, providing the same navigational reference that has guided travelers throughout human history. The astronomer points out how the train's eastward progress causes the entire sky to appear to rotate slowly around this fixed point, demonstrating the connection between earthbound travel and celestial mechanics. This visual representation of the planet's rotation adds another layer of wonder to the night's observations. Deep within the locomotive that pulls the train through the night, the diesel engine maintains its steady rhythm, a mechanical heartbeat that powers the entire journey. This engine, representing decades of engineering refinement, operates with the reliability and efficiency that makes long-distance passenger rail travel possible. Its constant pulse, transmitted through the train's structure, provides the foundation for all the comfort and safety that passengers experience. The engine compartment, though inaccessible to passengers, contains sophisticated systems that monitor and control every aspect of the locomotive's performance. Temperature gauges track the engine's operating heat, ensuring that cooling systems maintain optimal conditions despite hours of continuous operation. Oil pressure indicators confirm that lubrication systems protect moving parts from the wear that could compromise reliability. These monitoring systems, backed up by redundant safety measures, ensure that the engine continues its vital work throughout the night. Fuel consumption, carefully calculated and monitored, ensures that the locomotive maintains adequate reserves for the entire journey while operating at peak efficiency. The engine's computer systems, constantly analyzing performance data, make minute adjustments to fuel injection timing and quantity to optimize both power output and economy. This technological sophistication, invisible to passengers, represents the modern evolution of railroad motive power. The locomotive's braking systems, both dynamic and friction-based, work in coordination to provide the stopping power necessary for safe operation. Dynamic braking, which uses the traction motors as generators to convert the train's kinetic energy back into electricity, provides smooth deceleration without the wear associated with friction braking. This system, combined with traditional air brakes, ensures that the engineer has multiple options for controlling the train's speed. Communication systems within the locomotive connect the engineer to dispatchers along the route, other trains sharing the rail network, and crew members throughout the train. These radio systems, operating on dedicated railroad frequencies, provide the coordination necessary for safe and efficient operation. The constant flow of information between the locomotive and the outside world ensures that the train operates as part of a larger, coordinated transportation system. Chapter 28. The Rhythm of Rails. The steel rails beneath the train create their own music as the wheels pass over joints, switches, and the subtle variations in track geometry that occur along any railroad route. This percussion, steady and hypnotic, provides the fundamental rhythm that underlies all other sounds associated with train travel. The rails themselves, each one precisely manufactured and carefully installed, represent the infrastructure foundation that makes the night's journey possible. The track structure, invisible to passengers but essential to their safety and comfort, consists of multiple layers of engineering designed to support the train's weight while providing a smooth riding surface. The steel rails, supported by wooden or concrete ties and cushioned by carefully graded ballast, create a roadway that can support heavy loads while maintaining the precision necessary for comfortable passenger service. This infrastructure, maintained by dedicated crews working around the clock, ensures that trains can operate safely at speeds that make long-distance travel practical. Rail joints, where individual rail sections connect, create the rhythmic clicking that passengers associate with train travel. Modern welded rail construction has eliminated many of these joints, creating longer sections of continuous track that provide smoother rides, but the remaining joints continue to mark the train's progress with their distinctive sound. Each click represents a measured distance traveled, a mechanical metronome marking time and space. Curves in the track require special engineering to maintain passenger comfort while allowing the train to change direction safely. The rails on curves are banked at carefully calculated angles, with the outer rail slightly higher than the inner rail, to counteract the centrifugal forces that would otherwise cause passenger discomfort. The train's passage through these curves, smooth and controlled, demonstrates the precision of this engineering. Switch points, where the track branches to allow trains to change routes, require particular attention to maintain smooth operation. The train's passage over these complex mechanical assemblies, accomplished without noticeable disruption to passenger comfort, represents the high standards of maintenance applied to railroad infrastructure. Each switch represents a decision point in the rail network, a place where different destinations become possible. The continuous welded rail that characterizes modern railroad construction eliminates the traditional rail joints over long distances, creating a smoother ride and reducing maintenance requirements. The train's passage over these seamless sections of track produces a different sound signature, a continuous whisper, rather than the rhythmic clicking of jointed rail. This technological advancement represents the ongoing evolution of railroad infrastructure. Grade crossings, where the railroad intersects with highways, require special attention to safety and smooth operation. The train's approach to these crossings triggers warning systems that alert automobile traffic, while the track structure itself is designed to provide smooth passage for both rail and highway vehicles. The brief change in sound as the train passes over these crossings adds variety to the night's acoustic landscape. Miles away from the train, in a control center equipped with sophisticated monitoring and communication equipment, railroad dispatchers maintain constant surveillance over the night's journey. These professionals, working through the quiet hours when most of the world sleeps, serve as the invisible guardians of railroad safety, coordinating the movement of trains across hundreds of miles of track to ensure safe and efficient operation. The dispatcher's console, illuminated by multiple computer screens and communication panels, displays real-time information about train locations, track conditions, and weather along the entire route. This technological command center allows a single dispatcher to monitor and control train movements across vast territories, coordinating schedules and ensuring that trains maintain safe separation distances. The complexity of this operation, invisible to passengers, represents one of the most sophisticated transportation management systems in existence. Radio communication between the dispatcher and train crews provides the coordination necessary for safe operation in territories where multiple trains share the same tracks. These conversations, conducted in the professional shorthand of railroad operations, convey essential information about track conditions, signal indications, and operational changes that might affect the journey. The dispatcher's calm, professional voice provides reassurance to crews operating in the darkness. Computer systems at the dispatch center track the progress of every train in the territory, comparing actual performance against published schedules and identifying potential conflicts before they develop into operational problems. These systems, fed by trackside sensors and crew reports, provide the real-time information necessary for effective traffic management. The dispatcher's skill in interpreting this data and making operational decisions ensures that passenger trains maintain their schedules while operating safely. Weather monitoring receives particular attention during night operations, as conditions can change rapidly and affect both safety and passenger comfort. The dispatcher receives regular updates from weather services and trackside monitoring stations, allowing for advanced planning when conditions might require speed restrictions or other operational modifications. This advanced warning system helps ensure that weather-related delays are minimized and passenger safety is maintained. Track maintenance activities, often scheduled during the night hours when train traffic is lighter, require careful coordination with passenger train operations. The dispatcher must balance the need for infrastructure maintenance with the requirement to maintain passenger service, scheduling maintenance windows that allow essential work while minimizing service disruptions. This complex scheduling requires detailed knowledge of both maintenance requirements and operational constraints. Emergency response coordination represents one of the dispatcher's most critical responsibilities, though fortunately, one that is rarely needed. The dispatcher maintains contact with emergency services along the route and has immediate access to procedures for handling any situation that might threaten passenger safety. This preparedness, combined with the railroad's excellent safety record, ensures that passengers can travel with confidence in their security. The train reaches the deepest point of night, that mystical hour when darkness seems most complete and the boundary between sleeping and waking becomes most permeable. This is the time when the night train truly comes into its own, when the combination of motion, darkness, and the gentle sounds of travel create conditions that seem to exist outside normal time and space. Passengers, whether sleeping or awake, find themselves part of an experience that transcends mere transportation. In the sleeping cars, dreams reach their most vivid intensity, influenced by the train's gentle motion and the subconscious awareness of movement through space. The rhythm of wheels on rails weaves itself into unconscious narratives, creating sleep experiences that blend the physical sensation of travel with the mind's unlimited capacity for imagination. These dreams, shared by dozens of passengers, yet experienced individually, create an invisible community of the sleeping. The few passengers who remain awake during this deepest hour find themselves in a state of heightened awareness, as if the night's intensity has sharpened their perception of beauty and meaning. Colors seem more vivid, sounds more musical, and the simple act of looking out the window becomes a form of meditation. The train's passage through the landscape takes on an almost ceremonial quality, a ritual of movement that connects passengers to something larger than themselves. The observation car, with its dome of stars overhead, becomes a temple of contemplation during these deep night hours. The passengers who maintain their vigil here experience a sense of connection to the cosmos that daylight travel cannot provide. The stars, brilliant in the unpolluted sky, seem close enough to touch, while the train's motion creates the sensation of flying through space rather than merely traveling across the Earth's surface. The train's crew, though maintaining their professional vigilance, also feel the special quality of this deepest hour. Their movements become more deliberate, their voices softer, their attention more focused on maintaining the peaceful atmosphere that makes night travel so restorative. They understand that they are not merely operating a transportation system, but facilitating an experience that passengers will remember long after reaching their destinations. The landscape outside, though largely invisible in the darkness, seems to radiate a presence that passengers can sense even when they cannot see details. The train passes through sleeping forests, across bridges spanning invisible rivers, and past farms where only scattered lights suggest human habitation. This hidden world, revealed only in glimpses and suggestions, adds mystery and romance to the journey. The night air, flowing past the train's windows, carries scents and sounds that speak of the natural world through which the train passes. The fragrance of night-blooming flowers, the distant call of nocturnal birds, and the whisper of wind through unseen trees create a sensory connection to the landscape that complements the visual beauty visible during daylight hours. Though true sunrise remains hours away, the most sensitive observers begin to detect the first subtle hints that night has begun its slow retreat toward morning. These changes, more felt than seen, mark the beginning of the gradual transition that will eventually transform the darkness into the golden light of dawn. The train continues its steady progress through this liminal time, carrying passengers through the mysterious hour when night begins its surrender today. The eastern horizon, still black against the star-filled sky, shows no visible lightning, yet something in the quality of darkness suggests change approaching. Experienced travelers, those who have made this journey many times, sense this shift in the night's character, even before any physical evidence appears. It is as if the darkness itself carries a different weight, a subtle preparation for the transformation to come. The stars, which have blazed with such brilliance throughout the night, maintain their luminous display, but the most observant passengers notice that the faintest stars seem slightly less distinct than they were hours earlier. This change, barely perceptible and easily attributed to tired eyes, actually represents the first atmospheric preparation for dawn's eventual arrival. The night sky, though still magnificent, carries within it the seeds of its own transformation. Night-blooming flowers along the railway right-of-way begin their slow closing process, their petals gradually folding inward in preparation for the day's heat. These botanical rhythms, invisible to passengers, but part of the natural world through which the train passes, represent the constant cycle of rest and activity that governs all life. The flower's response to cosmic rhythms connects the train's journey to the larger patterns of existence. Nocturnal animals, though still active in their hunting and foraging, begin to show subtle changes in behavior that anticipate the approaching day. Owls call less frequently, night hunting mammals move with slightly different patterns, and the entire ecosystem begins its gradual preparation for the shift from night to day. These changes, though invisible to train passengers, represent the natural world's response to the same cosmic rhythms that govern human experience. The train's heating systems, responding to sensors that detect the subtle temperature changes preceding dawn, make minor adjustments to maintain passenger comfort. These modifications, automatic and unnoticed by sleeping travelers, demonstrate the sophisticated environmental control systems that ensure comfortable travel regardless of external conditions. The technology serves passengers by anticipating their needs before they become aware of changing circumstances. In the observation car, the dedicated stargazers notice that the eastern horizon seems to absorb starlight differently than it did earlier in the night. This change, subtle and difficult to quantify, suggests that the atmosphere above the horizon has begun its preparation for the sun's eventual appearance. The observers, their eyes adapted to darkness after hours of night watching, detect variations in light and shadow that would be invisible to casual glances. As the night reaches its turning point, the train's kitchen staff intensifies their preparation for the morning service that will greet passengers as they wake from their night's rest. The kitchen, which has maintained a low level of activity throughout the night, now becomes a center of focused industry as experienced cooks work to ensure that breakfast will be ready when travelers emerge from their sleeping berths, seeking the comfort of morning sustenance. The aroma of baking bread, which has been developing slowly throughout the night, now reaches its peak as loaves emerge golden and fragrant from the compact ovens. This scent, perhaps more than any other single element, signals the approaching end of night and the beginning of day. The bread's warmth and fragrance, spreading gradually through the dining car and into adjacent passenger areas, creates an atmosphere of comfort and anticipation that enhances the journey's appeal. Coffee preparation reaches a critical phase as the kitchen staff begins the final brewing process that will provide the first cups of morning refreshment. The coffee, selected specifically for its ability to brew well under the unique conditions of train travel, fills the kitchen with its rich aroma. The brewing equipment, calibrated to account for the train's motion and the varying water conditions encountered along the route, ensures that passengers will wake to coffee that meets the highest standards of quality and flavor. Fresh fruit, prepared during the night hours, receives final presentation touches that will make it appealing to passengers beginning their day. The kitchen staff's expertise in selecting and preparing produce that maintains its quality throughout the night demonstrates their commitment to serving meals that meet restaurant standards, despite the constraints of mobile food service. Each piece of fruit is arranged with care that reflects pride in presentation as well as nutrition. Egg dishes, requiring precise timing to ensure freshness and proper temperature, receive careful attention as the staff coordinates cooking schedules with anticipated passenger demand. The kitchen's organization, refined through years of experience in mobile food service, allows for the preparation of made-to-order items, despite the space constraints and motion challenges of train travel. This capability ensures that passengers receive fresh, hot meals rather than pre-prepared alternatives. The dining car's preparation extends beyond food to include the arrangement of tables, the placement of fresh flowers, and the coordination of service timing. Table settings, secured against the train's motion but elegant in their simplicity, create an atmosphere that enhances the dining experience. Fresh flowers, changed at major station stops, add color and fragrance that complement the food service and create a welcoming environment for morning diners. The kitchen staff takes particular satisfaction in their ability to provide high-quality breakfast service despite working in a moving environment. Their skills, developed through years of rail service, enable them to adapt traditional cooking techniques to the unique challenges of mobile food preparation. This expertise ensures that passengers begin their day with dining that rivals the best stationary restaurants, adding to the overall quality of the train travel experience. In the sleeping cars, the night's deep rest begins its gradual transition toward morning consciousness as the train's environmental systems make subtle adjustments in preparation for passengers' eventual awakening. The car's sophisticated climate control, lighting, and ventilation systems work in harmony to create conditions that support natural sleep cycles while preparing for the comfortable transition to wakefulness that will occur as dawn approaches. The ventilation system, which has maintained optimal air quality throughout the night, begins subtle modifications that will gradually prepare sleeping passengers for morning awakening. Fresh air circulation increases slightly, while temperature control systems make minor adjustments that account for the approaching dawn's effect on external conditions. These changes, imperceptible to sleeping passengers, demonstrate the sophisticated engineering that makes overnight train travel so restorative. Lighting systems throughout the sleeping cars remain at their minimum levels, preserving the darkness necessary for continued rest while ensuring that safety illumination remains adequate for any passenger who might need to move about during these pre-dawn hours. The balance between safety and comfort, achieved through careful engineering and regular maintenance, allows passengers to sleep securely while maintaining the peaceful environment essential for rest. Individual sleeping berths, each a private sanctuary within the larger community of the train, continue to provide the comfort and security that passengers require for restorative sleep. The berth's design, refined through decades of experience in overnight travel, accommodates the human need for both privacy and safety during the vulnerable hours of sleep. Each space, though compact, includes all amenities necessary for comfortable rest and peaceful awakening. The sleeping car attendant, maintaining his quiet vigil throughout the night, begins subtle preparations for the morning service that will assist passengers as they wake and prepare for their day. His movements, still ghost-like in their silence, include checking environmental systems, ensuring that morning amenities are ready for use, and coordinating with other crew members to provide seamless service as passengers transition from sleep to wakefulness. Sound control within the sleeping cars continues to minimize disturbances while maintaining the gentle sounds that promote rest. The car's construction, designed specifically for overnight service, provides acoustic isolation between berths, while allowing the soothing sounds of the train's motion to create a peaceful environment. This careful balance between sound control and acoustic comfort contributes significantly to the quality of sleep that passengers experience. The sleeping car's heating systems, responding to the subtle temperature changes that precede dawn, make automatic adjustments to maintain the consistent warmth that passengers require for comfortable sleep. These modifications, controlled by sophisticated sensors and computer systems, ensure that changing external conditions do not disturb sleeping travelers. The technology serves passengers by maintaining optimal comfort without requiring their conscious attention. In the observation car, the most dedicated passengers maintain their watch through the night's deepest hours, witnessing the subtle changes that mark the slow transition from darkness toward the eventual approach of dawn. The car's glass dome, which has provided such magnificent views of the star-filled sky, now becomes the observatory for detecting the first hints of the night's gradual transformation toward morning. The amateur astronomer, still present despite the late hour, continues his patient observation of the night sky, noting the subtle changes in stellar visibility that indicate atmospheric preparation for dawn. His experience with countless nights of sky watching allows him to detect variations in star brightness and clarity that escape casual observation. These changes, though minimal and easily overlooked, represent the beginning of the atmosphere's preparation for the sun's eventual appearance. The Milky Way, which has provided such spectacular beauty throughout the night, maintains its brilliant display across the dome of sky, visible through the observation car's windows. However, the most experienced observers begin to notice that the galaxy's faintest details seem slightly less distinct than they were hours earlier. This change, subtle and easily attributed to tired eyes, actually represents the first atmospheric effects of the approaching dawn. Jupiter, still brilliant in the western sky, continues to provide a steady beacon for navigation and wonder. Through the small telescope that passengers have shared throughout the night, the planet's largest moons remain visible. Their positions changed noticeably since the evening's first observations. This celestial dance, playing out over hours of observation, connects the train's passengers to the larger rhythms of the solar system. The constellation Perseus, now high overhead, displays its full glory in the unpolluted sky above the train's route. The astronomer points out the famous double cluster, visible as a hazy patch to the naked eye, but resolved into thousands of individual stars through the telescope. This view, impossible in areas with significant light pollution, represents one of the special rewards available to passengers on the night train's rural route. Meteor activity, though sporadic throughout the night, continues to provide occasional streaks of light across the dome. Each falling star creates a moment of shared wonder among the observation car's occupants, a reminder of the dynamic nature of the solar system through which Earth travels. The meteor's brief but brilliant passages serve as punctuation marks in the night's longer narrative of stellar observation. The North Star, Polaris, maintains its steady position as the apparent center around which the entire sky rotates. The train's eastward progress, combined with Earth's rotation, creates a slow but noticeable shift in the positions of all other stars relative to this fixed point. This demonstration of celestial mechanics, visible to patient observers, adds educational value to the aesthetic pleasure of stargazing from the moving train. In the locomotive's cab far ahead of the passenger cars, the engineer maintains his unwavering attention to the train's safe progress through the night's deepest hours. His position, isolated from the social atmosphere of the passenger compartments but connected to every aspect of the train's operation, requires a different kind of focus and dedication that has sustained him through countless night runs over his career. The locomotive's headlight continues to pierce the darkness ahead, its beam revealing the rails that guide the train's path through the night. This cone of illumination, steady and reliable, shows the engineer the immediate future of the journey. Upcoming curves, grade crossings, and the occasional wildlife that ventures near the tracks. His eyes, trained by years of night operation, read this illuminated corridor with the expertise of a professional who understands that passenger safety depends on his constant vigilance. Radio communication with dispatchers along the route provides regular updates on track conditions, weather reports, and coordination with other trains sharing the rail network. These conversations, conducted in the professional language of railroad operations, maintain the safety protocols that allow passenger trains to operate with their remarkable safety record. The engineer's responses, calm and professional, contribute to a network of communication that ensures safe operation across hundreds of miles of track. The locomotive's diesel engine maintains its steady rhythm, a powerful heartbeat that has driven the train through hours of night travel. The engineer monitors its performance through an array of gauges and indicators, each one providing information about the mechanical systems that must function reliably to ensure passenger safety and comfort. His attention to these details, constant and professional, represents the human element that no amount of automation can completely replace. Fuel consumption, carefully monitored throughout the night, confirms that the locomotive maintains adequate reserves for the remainder of the journey while operating at optimal efficiency. The engine's computer systems, constantly analyzing performance data, work in partnership with the engineer's experience to ensure that the train operates safely and economically. This combination of technology and human expertise represents the modern evolution of railroad operation. The train's braking systems, both dynamic and air-operated, remain ready for instant use should conditions require speed reduction or emergency stopping. The engineer's familiarity with these systems, developed through years of experience and regular training, ensures that he can respond appropriately to any situation that might arise. His confidence in the equipment, combined with his professional skills, provides the foundation for passenger safety. Weather conditions along the route receive constant attention as the engineer observes changes in visibility, precipitation, and wind that might affect the train's operation. His experience with night travel and various weather conditions allows him to anticipate potential challenges and make appropriate adjustments to speed and operation. This professional judgment, informed by years of experience, ensures that passengers remain safe and comfortable regardless of external conditions. The engineer's solitary vigil represents a tradition that connects the current journey to the entire history of railroad transportation. His role, though supported by modern technology and safety systems, still requires the human judgment and dedication that have characterized railroad service since the earliest days of train travel. In the quiet hours before dawn, he serves as the guardian of his passengers' safety, a responsibility he carries with quiet pride and professional competence.